So today I'm going to be talking for a couple minutes about the teachings of Francis Edward Clarke, who was a Protestant religious educator and who I found very intriguing because I'm a big fan of youth ministry, and he's kind of known as the father of youth ministry, at least the modern day version of it. So yeah, let's dive right in. So, just to give you a brief biography of his life, he was born on September 12th, 1851, in Quebec, Canada. He was raised in a devoutly Christian family, which significantly influenced his religious beliefs and values from an early age, which is pretty self explanatory. He attended high school in South Paris, Maine, where he was known for his academic excellence and leadership qualities. He graduated from Dartmouth College in 1873. During his time at Dartmouth, he was actively involved in religious activities, including leading prayer meetings and participating in Christian student organizations. After completing his undergraduate degree, Clarke attended a theological seminary in Massachusetts, where he received formal training in theology and pastoral ministry. Some key positions that he held within the church. His first pastoral assignment was at the Williston Congregational Church in Portland, Maine, where he served until 1881. And then after that, he founded the Christian Endeavor Society, which I will go into a little bit later. And then after leaving Williston, Clarke served as a pastor of Phillips Congregational Church in South Boston. It was during his tenure here that he continued to promote the Christian Endeavor movement, expanding its reach to other churches and denominations. And then he was also a very prominent religious author and speaker. He wrote many works, which are very interesting, and I will put some in the works cited. But beyond his pastoral duties, he was prolific in writing and public speaking. He authored numerous books and articles on religious education and specifically youth ministry, advocating for the integration of young people into the life of the church. These many roles and influences were crucial in shaping Clarke's vision for youth involvement in religious life and his lasting impact on religious education. So very much in the vein of this course, I feel, as he's talking about incorporating religious education and young people into the church. So he founded the Christian Endeavor Society, which essentially was meant to encourage youth participation in church. It addressed a couple issues of declining youth engagement in religious activities, kind of broke it down for people so that they could understand maybe why youth weren't attending churches. And it created a structured program focusing on personal commitment and active participation. So I feel like, especially in today, I feel like there's kind of a similar movement of declining youth participation, and I think we could learn a lot from this gentleman. So some of the innovative teaching methods, he was a prominent educator whose innovative teaching methods transformed student engagement. His philosophy emphasized primarily on hands-on learning and nurturing curiosity, which encouraged students to pursue knowledge actively rather than passively receiving information in the classroom setting. So he had many different examples of actively engaging students and putting them into scenarios rather than just having them just absorb a bunch of information, which in 1881 was a very groundbreaking idea, which I think is more incorporated into today's teaching practice. But for that time, this is like incredibly innovative. You don't have teachers that are trying to engage students hands-on as much. It's more just kind of lecturing and droning on. So I think this is a very big impact on students. He emphasized the importance of spiritual growth and education as well. Inspired many to pursue the life of service, fostering community and compassion through dedication, mentorship, and a strong moral foundation. Very influential, this man. I have a quote here from Francis Edward Clarke. And it says, "Education is a path to enlightenment and growth for every individual and society." So for a symbol of his teaching, I chose this picture, and I've called it the lamp of commitment, which represents his dedication to illuminating the path of faith for young people through his innovative teaching methods in religious education. The lamp signifies guidance, enlightenment, and the nurturing of young minds. The flame highlights the centrality of Christ in Clarke's teachings and the transformative power of faith. The open book at the base symbolizes the structured learning and commitment to personal growth that Clarke emphasized through his Christian Endeavor movement. This symbol encapsulates the core of Clarke's influence, guiding youth to live out their faith practically and purposefully, embodying a commitment that lights the way for others to follow. So just to kind of break it down a bit further, kind of how he modeled his teachings was he had a couple of different. He had a methodology, he had a philosophy, and an engagement, which I think if you are also in education, which I'm assuming most people are, this is a very relatable thing that we all go through when thinking about our teaching philosophy and things like that. But he really tried to inspire students through dedication. He emphasized hands-on learning techniques, and he tried to build a community of thinkers. Was kind of his goal. So I have about 9 or 8 different main points of his life and impacts that he had on religious education. And so I'm just going to kind of go through and explain them a little bit. So we have the Christian Endeavor Pledge. Basically, he introduced a concept of a pledge that members of the Christian society would take, committing themselves to regular attendance at meetings and active participation in church activities. So that's the pledge I put on the first slide talking about the Christian Endeavor. Was essentially, it was designed to promote personal responsibility and accountability among young members, encouraging them to take their faith seriously and live out their Christian values in daily life. This approach helped instill a sense of commitment and discipline in young people, making religious practice an integral part of their identity. The second one is youth-led worship services. Clark encouraged young people to take leadership roles in worship services, which was not the status quo at the time, allowing them to lead prayers, readings, and discussions. So by basically giving them the wheel. By giving youth a platform to express their faith, Clark empowered them to take ownership of their religious education and develop their leadership skills within the church context. This method helped break down traditional barriers between adults and youth in the church, fostering a more inclusive environment where young people felt valued and engaged. Then there's the consecration meeting. It was a monthly or biweekly meeting where each member of the Christian Endeavor Society would reaffirm their commitment to the faith. During these meetings, members would stand and verbally renew their pledge, sharing their experiences and spiritual struggles. The consecration meeting was a space for spiritual reflection and communal support, encouraging members to stay committed and accountable to one another. These meetings created a strong sense of community and support among members, reinforcing their commitment to the Christian lifestyle. We have the Lookout Committee. Clark established the Lookout Committee, a group of members responsible for maintaining active participation and attendance in the society. The committee's role was to reach out to members who had become inactive or disengaged, encouraging them to return and participate in meetings and activities. This proactive approach ensured that members felt cared for and connected, reducing dropout rates and fostering a sense of belonging within the group. Focus on practical Christianity was a big one for him, but his teaching emphasized the practical application of Christian principles in everyday life. He encouraged members to engage in community service, mission work, and social justice initiatives as expressions of their faith. By linking faith with action, Clark taught young people that being a Christian was not just about personal piety, but also about making a positive impact on society. This approach helped shape a generation of socially conscious Christians who were active in their communities and committed to social reform. Number 6 is interdenominational and international expansion. His model for the Christian Endeavor Society was designed to be adaptable across different denominations and cultural contexts. He actively promoted the establishment of societies in various countries and encouraged collaboration between churches. This interdenominational focus helped bridge divides between different Christian traditions, promoting unity and cooperation. The Christian Endeavor movement spread to over 60 countries, becoming one of the most significant youth movements of its time and influencing numerous other religious organizations. He talked a lot about integration of faith and fellowship. He integrated social activities such as picnics, games, and outings with religious education, creating a balanced program that appealed to young people's interests while nurturing their spiritual growth, which I think is a great thing to do for potentially if you're teaching at a Catholic school, like a religion course. I think a lot of them tend to be a little bit heavy on the lecture and not so integrated into the things like picnics and games and, fun things. But this holistic approach ensured that religious education was not seen as a dry, purely intellectual exercise, but as a vibrant and enjoyable part of life. This method helped attract and retain young people, making the church a central part of their social and spiritual lives. Last one, Promise is the last one. He developed a structured study plans and devotionals that members could follow daily or weekly. These plans were often published in society newsletters and distributed among members to provide consistent and guided spiritual nourishment, helping members grow in their understanding of Christian teachings and their personal relationship with God. These resources offered young people a practical way to integrate religious study into their daily routines, fostering spiritual discipline and growth. So in conclusion, Clarke's innovative teaching methods transformed the way young people engaged with their faith and the church, setting a precedent for modern youth ministry programs. His emphasis on active participation, personal commitment, and community service laid the groundwork for future generations of religious educators and youth leaders. But yeah, thank you for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I do also have just some references just in case you're curious. But yeah, thank you so much.